Hey guys, glad you stopped by. Just getting ready to start some dinner. Stick around, if you wish, and have dinner with us. That would be awesome. I love to have company for dinner. Tonight we're going to do a dish that, like most of the dishes, I've never done before, but I've never even done a dish this way, and then I don't know why, because it's just something I've never done. That's a sheet pan dish, and this one is pierogies and kielbasa. And it's got cabbage with it and some onions and just some spices in general. Not even a lot of spices, salt, pepper, some vinegar. It's just got a lot of cool stuff with it. Really simple, really basic. It will take us no time to put it together at all. And it shouldn't take us more than like 15 minutes to put it together at most. And just about a half hour in the oven. So yeah, it sounds good at any rate. I like kielbasa. I like pierogies, and you can do some diversity with this, and we'll talk about that as we make it. Things you could probably add to it, take away. I'm doing this just like the recipe was written. That way I can see how it tastes the first go around, with the way the person who wrote the recipe thinks it should be. And I do all my dishes that way, and then that way I can add to it later, but I want to see what their interpretation of it was first. So for the most part, everything you see me do on this channel is very much per the recipe, unless I'm out of something or I truly believe that I could add something to it that in my mind would make it not better, but more towards our liking. That being said, if this is your first video, welcome. I hope you get something out of this video. Check out some of my other ones. If you're returning or one of our new subscribers, welcome back and thank you. That's awesome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Comments, always welcome. I do respond to just about 99.987% of all of them. And because I like the comments. I like to communicate and talk back and have a conversation. And we've done that quite a bit, and I think that's awesome. But yeah, but with comments, keep them nice, respectful. It's okay to disagree. Just think before you type. No mean comments, no rude comments. Not towards me or anybody else that comments. Just rude. And so far, I mean, realistically, everybody's just been incredibly cool. So that being said, let's go ahead and head on down here to the counter and we'll start making this really quick, easy meal and get it in the oven. All right, hold on for me 1 second. All right, we are down here at the counter. So, as always, I've got my recipe right here. Abby so kindly tore it out for me. But that's okay. She was doing artwork and design. She started on this one, then moved on to my baking book. Where she gave me some very colorful designs on the back of a few recipes. But things we will need to do. First thing we're going to need to do is put our oven at 400 degrees. Next thing, you need a half a sheet pan, right, which is 13 by 18, I believe. Yeah, 13 by 18, might be 15 by 18, but it's 18 inches long at any rate. And like I said, I do believe it's 13 inches, but it's a half a sheet pan. And I lined it with foil, aluminum foil. You could probably do parchment paper too, but foil I think is the best bet in this case, just because that way when it's done cooking I can take it off and there's no mess. Next thing you will need is at least one mixing bowl, and the biggest one you have. Now this is like a super-sized one that a friend gave me a while back, and I absolutely love this bowl. It is great for making large amounts of anything. In this bowl, I have a half a medium head, and I don't know what a medium head of cabbage looks like, so I grabbed one that wasn't too big and one that wasn't small, and I just sliced it up, right, into fairly thin slices, right around eighth to a quarter inch, right, probably closer to a quarter inch for most of them, and I put it in the bowl. So to this bowl, we are going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and in this case you want to use maybe not your most expensive olive oil, but one that's got flavor to it, because you got some olive oils that don't really have a lot of flavor, like your everyday olive oils. But in this case, you want one that's got a little bit of flavor to it. But I've got 2 tablespoons right here, and I'm just going to put that over top of this, right? And then we are going to put some salt and pepper on it. We're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I just got a 1/4 teaspoon measuring spoon right here. That way, because it's got some oddball measurements. But 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 3/4 teaspoon of pepper, just like such. And then we're going to mix this together. Now I'm just going to use my hands. You know, and if you want to use your hands and you're not a real big fan of getting them dirty, you could use gloves if you have them. Or you can just use tongs and mix it up. But you want to make sure you get everything coated. All right, so we got everything coated. You know, all the cabbage has oil on it and some salt and some pepper. So I'll wash off my hands here right quick. I think, yeah, and it's, I remember as a kid, I didn't like cabbage. I thought cabbage and sauerkraut was like the grossest thing ever. Then as I got older, what really sold me on cabbage was a dish I had, God, probably 25, 30 years ago, that was nothing more than shredded cabbage, ground pork sausage, and chicken stock and noodles. And it was the most amazing meal I had had ever. And I don't know if it's because I was hungry at the time or, I mean, it was just amazing. But I've had it several times since, and I think it's really good. So we got our cabbage done up. So now we're just going to take this and we're going to put it on our sheet pan. All right, and we'll spread that out right quick, like a giant bed of lettuce. Now I probably have a little more than a 1/2 head of lettuce here, or cabbage. So, and that's okay. We like cabbage, so it's all right. So the next thing we're gonna put in here is our pierogies. So I've got 1 box, 1 pound of pierogies. Now, here's where, you know, you can vary this a little. And in this recipe, you can actually double. So if you're feeding more, if this feeds like 4 people, which is I think what we're feeding tonight anyhow, but you could easily double this recipe. So you can go with about a full head of cabbage, which that really looks like about a full head. You could do 2 boxes or 2 pounds of pierogies. You know, and then the kielbasa, when we get to it, you can double that also. I mean, it was just really easy to double and go on a full sheet pan. To this, I got 1 medium onion. I've got thinly sliced. I probably should have put that in with the cabbage, but it's all right. I mean, it works all the same. It's all going to the same place. It's all going on the pan. And to this, we are going to add 2 more tablespoons of oil, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. So I've got a 1/2 cup of olive oil all the way around in here, which is what we're pretty much going to need. And because this has got just an absolutely wonderful Dijon sauce that goes on top of it, a Dijon mustard sauce that requires what oil we have left. I say wonderful like I've eaten it before, and I haven't, but I know all the ingredients in it sound amazing, so I can't imagine it would be bad. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Put that in there. And then for this one, I am going to grab gloves. The pierogies, this is kind of funny. Well, I mean, it's not really funny. It's absolutely kind of horrible, only because it's a sign of getting older, I think, at least in my mind. And that is the fact that the cold from the pierogies will actually affect the arthritis in my knuckles. And just by sitting here turning them, and so if I hit them directly with my fingers, so I don't want that. So I'll just sit here and put gloves on, and then that way I can toss this around, and much like the cabbage, we're going to get it completely coated. Okay, so we've got our pierogies and onions coated with oil, salt, and pepper. Now I suppose if you have a big enough bowl like this, we could have just done this all in one bowl. But, or at the same time, but that, it wasn't how the recipe was written, so that we did it this way. All right, so now we're gonna take these, and we're gonna spread these on top. And our oven is up to temp, as should be. Yeah, and like we talked about last week, yeah, you want to make sure your oven's up to temp, and you know, it's helpful if you can hear it and let it cycle a couple times, hear it kick on and off. So we'll go ahead and get our pierogies spread out here. We can see what I got going on, along with the onions. And then to the top of this, we're just gonna add our kielbasa. Now I just cut them up into 1/2 inch rounds, you know, 1/2 inch-ish rounds. And we'll just throw this on top, like such. All right, got that on top. Put that in there. So now, all we gotta do is pop this portion in the oven. And I'll get that in there, and then we'll talk about what we're gonna do next. Okay, got it in the oven. I will say, if nothing else, that looks absolutely delightful. It's very colorful for being just a few basic colors. I think it looks fabulous, and from what just the smells that we've gotten so far are quite amazing. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna set my timer for 20 minutes. Yep, we're gonna bake this for 20 minutes. And then when that 20 minutes is up, we'll take them out, give them a good turn, and then we'll have to bake them a little longer. But when I come back, we'll get them turned, put them back in the oven, and then we're gonna make the vinaigrette that goes on top of it. So I'll see you here in just 1 second. All right, so we had 20 minutes is up. I went ahead, pulled it out, flipped my pierogies over, gave my kielbasa a good flip around, yes, that way we get a little cooking on both sides. Gave the cabbage a good stir along with the onions. So now we can go ahead and get this back in the oven, and we're gonna set the timer for 25 minutes. Now the original recipe said 20 to 30 minutes, so we'll go 25. But what we're looking for in this case is for the pierogies to be golden brown, and the kielbasa to have a good crisp color to them also. We're just trying to get things looking yeah, browned and crisp and good, not burnt obviously, but you know, pierogies, when you cook them, the only way I've ever made them is in oil, shallow fry basically, and they get golden brown each side, and then you take them out, let them cool, and you slam them because they're amazing. But now that we got that in the oven, we can go ahead and make our dressing that's going to go on top of that. So hold on 1 second, I'll get this back down to the counter here, and we can start making it. Hold on for me 1 second. All right, we're back down here at the counter, and we need a small bowl for this, or a measuring cup, or something that we can mix this up in. I'm just going to use a small bowl. And in this bowl, I've got 1 clove of garlic, and I got it minced up. That's what we're going to start at. And then we're going to take our remaining amount of oil, which is about 1/3 of a cup. But if you pour 1/2 cup in the beginning and take your 4 tablespoons out total, you'll use what's left, which is 1/3 of a cup. And to that, we are going to add, so we've got our garlic, 1 minced up garlic clove, 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil, or olive oil. We've got 2 teaspoons of honey. Now I'm deviating a little bit. That is honey, but it's hot honey, which I have found that even though it has good flavor, and it does have a bit of a bite, it's not uber spicy by any means. I actually put it in my coffee in the morning. That way I get the sweetness, a little bit of sweetness like sugar, and but I get that little extra bite like a Mexican hot cocoa, which is pretty cool. And I don't get all the bazillions of calories that go with sugar. Doctor says I gotta watch my sugar intake. Even I don't eat a lot of sugar, but it's, I guess, just enough that she feels I might be pre-diabetic, and that's not really good when you like to bake. So we've got our honey, our oil, and our garlic in there. The next thing we're going to add to this is 2 tablespoons of stone ground Dijon mustard, which you could really use any kind of mustard you like or you have. You don't have to have stone ground. We like stone ground, but I've got plain Dijon mustard. Taylor just got back from Iowa, and she stopped in, I don't remember where along the way, and got me a really nice bottle of Dijon mustard, which was really cool of her. And so we got our 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. I have got 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. I'm gonna put that in there, and then we're just gonna take a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. We're gonna put that in there, and then we're just gonna mix this up. I'm gonna use my my egg beater whisk. Like I said last week, I think it was, that this is like the most amazing whisk ever. It does everything, but I use it for a lot of stuff, especially sauces like this. That way we can get that all mixed up. And then once we get this mixed up like we have, we will set this to the side and let it until our dish comes out. But there we are, right there. It looks really good. I'm quite proud of it. So we'll just let this sit off to the side, and when our kielbasa, when our sheet pan comes out of the oven, we can pour some of this on it and try some. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so we went our 25 minutes, and I just pulled it out of the oven, so it's still like amazingly hot. And I'll bring it in a little closer for you to see there. But there we are, and I mean, as you can see, the pierogies got a nice color to them. The sausage has got a nice color to it, you know, and our cabbage didn't burn, but it's got a little crispness to it, which is what we wanted, I think. I don't know. I know this much. My kitchen smells fantastic, and that looks delicious. So I went ahead and put our vinaigrette that we made in a container, and then that way I can just use the pour spout, and we're just gonna drizzle it on here just like such. There's that. But we want to save half of it according to the recipe. We're gonna save half of it for just in case somebody wants a little more, a little less, you know, well, a little more, I guess I should say. Can't go backwards, right? So we got half of that on there. Now, grab my tongs here, and we'll dish some up. That way we can give it a try. I know these pierogies look amazing. I love pierogies. They could easily be the death of me. We don't eat them very often. I don't think I mentioned this go around. They make different types of pierogies. I've never seen anybody else have frozen pierogies but Mrs. T's, and that's who these are. I've never seen a store-bought or a store brand or anything like that. But so I buy hers, but she has 3 different kinds. There is a potato, garlic, and onion one, which is what we usually buy, and it is an amazing pierogi. And then they also make a 4 cheese one. I think it's 4 cheeses, which we've had a couple times, and that's good also. But these ones are a loaded potato. So they got potato, sour cream, bacon, cheese inside of them, and I thought, those sound really good. Let's give those a try. So there is our meal at its finest. That is what we're trying for dinner tonight. And I'll get you out of the oven there, so to speak, and up here so I can see you. Yeah. It's always nice to look a person in the eyes when you're talking to them, I think. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. And we'll give this a try. I'm a little nervous. I don't know why I'm a little nervous, but I'm a little nervous. Just gonna cut one of these pierogies up real quick. Should use a knife, but why bother? Oop. I did cheat a little on the sauce and tried a little bit of it when I was pouring it into the container there. But we got some pierogies, some sausage, and some cabbage. That is really good. The cabbage has a nice crispness to it. The onion has a nice crispness to it, but it's not like raw. I think the olive oil and the salt and the pepper just did a wonderful job with them. The pierogi is fantastic. I highly recommend the loaded potato ones. I've never had that one before. And the sausage has just a wonderful flavor with that just little bit of crispness that's on it on the outside. It's definitely good. Sorry, I'll put it down now and as I make a complete pig of myself. That's really good. I don't think I'd serve it with anything else. Bread, maybe a nice bread loaf, Italian or otherwise, would be really good with that. I think we're just gonna run with sliced wheat bread with some butter. I may toast it. I don't know. I haven't decided. But anyhow, give this a try. That's really good. And I think it'll be very filling. Pierogies are very filling, so it'll definitely stick to you. Like I said, that cabbage has a really good flavor with just the salt, pepper, and the oil. And then you drizzle that Dijon sauce on top of it. It just sets it on fire. Even if you don't like cabbage, I think you'll like this. And if you haven't tried cabbage in a long time, try it again. You might find you like it, especially in this. That kielbasa, you can't go wrong with the kielbasa, hands down. And I was thinking, yeah, there would be kind of a cool way to change this up, maybe a little. You could go with a fresh green, I like mustard greens, a fresh mustard green instead of the cabbage. Maybe do andouille sausage and the 4 cheese pierogi. That might be good, you know, with a Cajun style sauce. I don't know. It'll be something I work on my own time, and if I come up with something good, I'll share it with you. But this, in and of itself, great dish. I definitely would recommend making it. And let me know if you do. Let me know down in the comments below, or you know, Facebook is always good. I haven't been on there much lately, but always leave a comment. I get notifications if you leave a comment on Mr. Smith's Kitchen Facebook group. Yeah, I think that's it. Tomorrow, I haven't decided what we're doing for dessert yet. I found a recipe for a pie that I never thought existed. I would have never thought of it in a million years, and that's a carrot pie. That really intrigues me, and that might be what we're doing tomorrow, or it's a lady something cake that's got maraschino cherries and figs in it and all kinds of wonderful things. But it's a lovely 2-layer cake, and we may do that. I got the ingredients to do both, and they both sound fantastic. The carrot cake sounds good, or the carrot pie sounds good, and both recipes are from like the 1920s and 1930s. They're an older recipe, and that begs the question, what are some of your favorite things to bake or cook? You know, I like doing a new dish every week and trying new things. That keeps my palate, you know, broad. But like cakes and pies and things like that, my favorite things to make are cheesecakes and pies. And I adore older recipes. You know, new is very fashionable and trendy, but old has been around for a long time and is still around. That means it's probably pretty good, and to me that's pretty awesome. And it also broadens your palate. So, let me know. Leave me a comment about that down below. So if you try it, or you have something that you like, baking wise or cooking wise, that you know has been in your family for a while, or that you want to share, you know, let me know. So till tomorrow for cake or pie, I love you. I love you very much, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else you love them, and that you love them very much. They may need to hear it. It's gonna make them feel good either way it goes. It's gonna make you feel good to tell them. And if you make them some of these pierogies and kielbasa, that's gonna be an evening of conversation and good food that you just can't beat. So till tomorrow for dessert, I love you. Talk to you then. Bye.